Let's talk about hummus for a second. Now, I don't know about you, but I really like hummus. Some of you like hummus as well. But if you ever talk to somebody who really takes hummus seriously, you know that it's more than just a dip. It's far beyond that. They debate the perfect ratio of tahini to chickpeas, and should it be silky smooth or a little rustic and chunky, garlic forward, lemon forward. And let's not even get into the battle over olive oil placement. Should it be blended in? Should it be drizzled on top? Should it be both? And then there's the debate of the real origin. Hummus is Lebanese. No, it's Palestinian. Oh, actually, it's Egyptian. No, it's Israeli. The debate never ends. Wars have been waged. Okay, mostly on the internet. And I get it. I respect the passion. But as much as I love hummus, here's the truth. If you gave me a choice, I would take refried beans. I mean, just my personal preference. I know, blasphemy. But hear me out. Hummus isn't the only amazing dish in the world. There are so many versions of the same idea. There's baba ganoush, there's black bean dip, lentil spreads, porridge. And if you really wanted to stretch the definition, you could say peanut butter deserves to be in that list as well. Almost every culture has some kind of a smooth, scoopable, protein-packed spread. So, which one is right? You see, many culinary traditions see themselves as the only true hummus tradition. It's not just a traditional dish, it is the dish, the recipe that got it right, most faithful to its origins, ingredients, and preparation. But here's the problem. Every culinary tradition believes that about itself. At some point, I had to ask myself, is this really what hummus is supposed to be? Is it about finding the one perfect formula, defending it at all costs, and then insisting that others do the same? And when they don't, we'll read the comment section of anyone who talks about hummus on YouTube or social media. But is hummus something bigger than all the squabbling? Because if I tell you that hummus is the only correct food and how I make it is the only real way, at that point I'm not actually talking about hummus, am I? I'm talking about control, ego, pride, self-assuredness, the deep human need to feel that we've got it figured out, and they don't. Now let's look at Jesus for a second. Now Jesus more than likely ate some version of hummus. All the ingredients for hummus were widely available in his time, so it was entirely possible that he ate hummus. But Jesus wasn't walking around Galilee saying, you must eat this exact recipe, prepared in this exact way, or else you are outside of God's will. Instead, what did he do? He sat at the table with everyone. Tax collectors, sinners, the poor, the broken. He broke bread with them. During the Last Supper, maybe they took that bread and dipped it into some version of hummus that the owners of the upper room had made. Maybe it was lemony, maybe it was garlicky, maybe it was chunky. We don't know. But this much we do know. Whatever he dipped that bread into, he said that the bread, was a symbol for his body, and the wine was a symbol for his blood. Whatever spread went on the bread was irrelevant. Right now there's a lot of I'm right and you're an idiot energy swirling around when it comes to hummus. And listen, I get it. We all have our preferences. We all have our traditions. Some of us grew up with a very specific kind of hummus, and we know that it's the right hummus, the only hummus. But lately it feels like we're not just discussing hummus, are we? No, we're defending it like our entire identity depends on it. And these aren't just casual kitchen debates anymore. No. We've got purists out there claiming you don't just pick and choose what ingredients you want to put in hummus. If you don't have these key ingredients in these proportions, it's not real hummus. You should be hogtied if you don't repent of your culinary sins. Then you have the back and forth of people who say, if it doesn't have olive oil drizzled on top, it's not real hummus. You have to have olive oil on top. Whereas someone else says, no. If you don't mix the olive oil into the hummus, well, you miss the whole point of having olive oil at all. And then we've got the modernist saying, if your hummus doesn't have roasted red pepper, what are you even doing with your life? Then, of course, there's the originalist, the ones who say hummus must be prepared exactly as it was in the beginning, in the Holy Land, in the sacred way of our ancestors, or else it is false hummus. And naturally, because we're human, it doesn't stop there. People start reviling each other, mocking each other, questioning each other's integrity because of hummus. Anyone who puts cumin in hummus is a fool. Your hummus is too thick. What is wrong with you? That guy over there, he eats store-bought hummus. He's beyond saving. At the end of the day, though, I'm just hungry. And there are a lot of hungry people out there that need sustenance, a table to sit at, a companion to talk with, a meal or just a snack to share with someone. Now, some of us were raised with a very specific diet. And for many of us, our version of hummus is what we like. It nourishes us. It sustains us. We run into problems when we assume that because we like it for ourselves, then everyone must have our version. The question isn't, is my version of hummus the best version of hummus? The question is, does what I bring to the table sustain those gathered at it? Do I force them to eat my hummus? Do I shame them for not liking it or for considering a different way of preparing it? Do I begin to see those that put a different ingredient in as my enemies? Do I argue for hours over the origins of hummus, origins that cannot be proven one way or another? Because I have to understand that at the end of the day, it all begins with love. With chickpeas. Does your hummus bring people to the table? Or does your insular insistence on being right end up driving people away? Because Jesus didn't argue whose hummus was going on the bread. He concentrated on who was breaking bread with him. Are you holding on to your recipe because it leads people to your table, or are you holding on to it because it's what you've always known? And anything outside of it feels scary, sacrilegious, or false. If your if your hummus is producing fear, arrogance, or division, if we feel we need to legislate our recipe into law and say that everyone can only make this recipe by law, regardless of how they want to make it, maybe it's time to step back and ask if that's really what if that's what hummus is all about. Maybe you feel that way, but I don't. Who then should win? Because hummus isn't about proving your version is the best. It's about making sure that everyone at your table is full, fed, and welcome. I'm John DeHoyas. Peace, love, and hummus.